Hey guys, welcome to the Cosmic Panel where today we're going to be discussing Loki Season 2. Spoilers, spoilers, and spoilers galore. Um, First off, I thought this season was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think there was a lot of thematic and interesting through lines through it. Loki as a character is phenomenal. Tom Hiddleston always just does the best with that character. Even if anything else is lacking, I can trust Tom Hiddleston to carry his weight. And the supporting cast was really good this season, but I really enjoyed it. I know Elias have some differing points on certain episodes, but overall, I think this was a very thematic exploration on the idea of futility and nihilism, which sounds really grand for a show called Loki. um, but yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I think this for me was a bit of a slow burn that you don't feel the full gravity of until you reach the final episode. And I think that in general is a cool exercise, but due to my MCU fatigue and um, yeah, I guess maybe just that, uh, I found it hard to get through some of the episodes. Um, for me, a big thing that I couldn't get over was how season one ended with all my Kang variants are coming. They're gonna fuck shit up. Like, look out. And then we didn't get any of that. And it took 3 episodes for even the temporal loom to fail. So that sort of was just frustrating to me because I really liked how the first season ended. You know, I thought it felt very dramatic. I thought it set up high stakes, and then we didn't really get a payoff there. But again, the season two is better appreciated once you watch the final episode. Um, Part of it for me also was that like this is a very odd situation for a character like Loki to be in. You kind of forget that he's Loki, like the character, for sometimes at some points. There's a lot of times where he's not using magic, and then when he finally gets his magic back, it's very limited in use. Um, so it's just for me was kind of hard to get into it at certain points because I'm like, this is a different character. This is not the Loki that I'm used to. He's in a completely, unique situation. But that being said, I think you do feel bad for him and you do empathize with his character, him wanting to just have his friends back, him wanting to have his friends and a group of people that he can trust in and grow with. And I think that part of the character is very cool. But yeah, I think I would have to rewatch the second season to fully appreciate the message because just from what I can recall, like having episodes like episode 2 where they spend a lot of time with what is it, Brad Wolf or something, you kind of get the feel and the vibe for why people don't want to go back to the TVA or why people want to have their own paths in lives that they can lead and stuff like that. So I can appreciate that aspect.
yeah. Also, I was thinking about season one, and season one also does very much the same thing. While we do remember the bombastic ending, there was a lot of like kind of slow burn during the middle of it, where it was just him trying to find Sylvie.
For sure.
Especially in the beginning, like the first episode is literally just an entire recap episode, basically for Loki, getting him caught up to like what we expect Loki to be. And the second one is literally him at a Shakespearean festival or like at a medieval festival. Um, so I don't think it's necessarily out of that different from season one in that comparison, but I do understand those complaints that that the ending really set up for this giant big climactic finale
I
and
guess I
next
should
season.
say that like I wasn't the biggest fan of season 1 either until at least the midway point. So that's just for me, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, but yeah, no, I really did love. Um, I really do think this show really shows what the MCU can do when it has at least an idea of what it wants to be, where it wants to go. There's a beginning, middle, and end to the story. I don't think there's going to be another season. I think this is the end of the story for currently Loki. Um, and I think that's very very fitting because you don't need to have a never-ending story with every character. You can have these stories end and then kind of put them on hiatus for a bit until you need them. And doing that makes this feel like, yes, it is important to the MCU, but it's also important as a fan of the character in general. But yeah, no, this show I feel like really highlights a little bit of what the MCU has kind of lost over the years, where it's that centralized vision, thematic relevance, and like deeper thought provoking questions. Because the question brings up like Loki brings up like what do I do if I can't fix this? What do I do? And Kang is like, you either destroy it all or you become part of the machine. And Loki chooses neither. So it's a very interesting thematic question that I feel like can also relate to a lot of people within our capitalistic society, which would is just insane that I'm talking like this about a fucking TV show called Loki. So it's nuts. For me, it's incredibly refreshing to get a thematic experience that has a thorough line, philosophical meaning, and still feels entertaining.
A big MCU Disney Plus show like this that becomes required viewing is hopefully going to encourage more viewers. I hope that people pay attention to this show just because going forward, that's going to be an important thing to know. Like Loki is now the man at the end of time, keeping all the branches alive. So it's definitely a big deal, and I hope that they can have some follow through with this because right now there's just going to be a lot of TV shows before we even get another movie. So I hope they can, I don't know, take their time to really iron this out and really be able to go forward with the multiverse stuff well. Um, there's potential. There's potential here.
I really do like the fact that Loki became the god of stories. That is what most people are agreeing on that he's become, um, because he's like weaving the threads of fate, quote unquote.
Sorta, kinda.
Yeah, but I do really like it. It feels like someone. So I saw a clip where someone pointed out that he always said that he's burdened with glorious purpose, and this time he's finally burdened with it. He finally got the throne that he wanted, but this was the one time he didn't want it. So, very, very fitting, dark but fitting end for this character.
Yeah. The whole theme of like Lokis are destined to lose, like that whole thing, um, is a cool motif that they keep throughout the show.
Yeah.
Trying to
Let's
think what else.
let's talk about some negatives. Miss Minutes wanting to fuck Kang. What do we think about that, Elias?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
There's some weird choices. I don't know. Like it just felt this season felt disjointed coming into it from the first season. Just felt like, I don't know, a little all over the place for the first couple episodes because I'm like, why are they spending so much time with Brad Wolf? Why are they spending so much time not fixing the loom, like all this stuff. I don't know. It's a test of patience for I would think not just myself. Like I feel like there has to be other people wanting more. Um, Again, just because they set up such dire consequences for killing He Who Remains. But I guess the idea for introducing Victor was like, here's a docile version of Kang before he goes power crazy or whatever. But like, it just felt a little weird to me that this is basically the MCU's origin of Kang now is this guy. And the whole point of Kang in the comics is like, he's a genius, but he also has access to technology to actually make his ideas happen because he already exists in the 31st century. So to make this guy, what was that, 1800s or something, 1700s?
Yeah, 1700s. I was very surprised by that.
Like, he can't even execute half of that shit, and he's also like just a swindler in this reality, and he's just kind of fucking people over and messing around and shit, because I guess he's still figuring it out, but then he's able to actually do shit when he has access to the TVA. So
Yeah,
I don't know, that just felt a little weird to me.
I think He Who Remains kind of points it out that we were supposed to feel that way with Victor Timely, because he's like, oh, Victor Timely. It's like he totally, it feels like he set up that goose chase so that people would run after a variant of himself that like he knew wasn't worth shit.
Yeah,
Which I think is an interesting take on that. Do I wish we saw more variants? Of course. But at the same time, we also do need to realize that like Marvel right now is in a weird spot with Jonathan Majors, and I'm sure they didn't want to. It's weird because they don't want to commit fully, but they also still have to have him within the movies to at least wrap up something. So
it's just the whole thing of like, I've been pulling the strings the whole time is like an annoying writing trope to me in general. So that's why I just had a little bit of a hard time with that. Like, but I really like, for the last episode, I really like Loki taking centuries to learn advanced physics and all this shit. I like that he finally admits to himself that he is a god, and he can take the time to do this because he cares so much and so deeply about the TVA and his friends and all this stuff. So I mean, I like that aspect of it. I definitely like, it definitely wasn't unexpected. Like, I was pretty positive that the last episode was going to be a lot of rewinding, but I still thought it was pretty cool.
yeah, no, I mean we got to see the first episode. We got to see the end of season 1. We got to see a lot of different points within the story. Plus we did get that moment with Sylvie where he was arguing, which I think was very, very important, because it was like, here are these two opposing ideas. Okay, now figure out an in between. And Loki kind of found out that in between, but at the sacrifice of his own life, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah, this show easily is one of the best MCU shows. Period. I think that's uncontested. But now the question is, when is the next time we're going to get an update on any of this multiverse stuff? And also, when is it going to be done well in the films? Because really, like, sure, it's done well here, but like, people want to watch the films. So like, you need to have like good, you gotta have these type of ideas present throughout films instead of just the TV shows. Because right now the multiverse saga has kind of been just limited to bits and pieces of the movies, and usually movies that aren't good, and then like really good TV shows.
I guess my difficulty when there's an MCU property that actually tries to like tackle real messages and real like deeper things is that like everything is a joke in the MCU. Like that's the whole, everything has to have a punchline, like haha funny, like this, that. That when they actually try to do something like that, it's harder for me to get into, and it's harder for me to believe and actually, resonate with that. Because, up to that point, it's a lot of movies that are just, breaking tension. They don't allow any tension to sit, So I think maybe that was also part of my problem with this. But watching this after watching the Marvels, I can only hope that they have a better multiversal plan going forward.
Yeah.
And that there's some cohesion with the next bunch of projects.
Any other thoughts?
I'm trying to think, but I'm struggling. I feel like it really is just...
I really love Ouroboros.
It's all just build up to that. Yeah, Ouroboros is a very good character. Yeah, I mean, probably he was my favorite part of the first 5 episodes.
Yeah,
He's
easily.
Just a great actor, great performances.
I love the episode where he was talking to Loki in the past while also remembering the stuff in the future. And he was like, wait, I have the save. And he just pulls out.
Oh, like, that, yeah. No, that was really good.
That was really fun.
That was very cool. I enjoyed that. So yeah, he's definitely a highlight. I think he's kind of the star of the second season for a lot of people, I'm sure.
I love that he was a science fiction writer in his real time.
Yeah, it's good too.
And then as soon as Loki brings
up...
Well,
he was a professor.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't want to be a professor. He wanted to just be a science fiction writer. He like treated it like it was a bother. He's like, yeah, but I gotta make it as a writer so I can quit being a professor.
At like Oxford or some crazy. It was like some high echelon school too. No, it was really funny, and also I loved how Loki was just like, how long would it take for me to learn what you know? He's like centuries. But yeah, no, phenomenal character, very fun. I really did enjoy him. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed Loki season 2. Elias, what's your ranking for this season?
My ranking is going to be 2.5 pruners out of 5.
And mine is going to be 4 TVA handbooks out of 5. Quite opposed, quite on the opposite ends, but let's hopefully you guys enjoyed. Definitely tell us your thoughts down below. Remember to subscribe, support your local comic shop, and read comics. And remember, guys, string theory is when you turn into a bunch of strings. Bye-bye!